Okay, now we go into charging and cleansing crystals. So this part itself is very straightforward because as you know, there are a lot of people, they have a lot of crystals and you guys has got a lot of collection of crystals at home. So how do you take care of them and how do you cleanse them? It's typically by using a few methods. So for cleansing, so very straightforward, what we do is we either use sound or sage. Sound therapy is one of the commonly used methods. You can actually use a tuning fork or a singing bowl, striking it and then use the frequency, right, to go around your crystals to cleanse the crystal's energy. Why is it important to cleanse the crystal's energy? Because as we leave the crystals at a space for too long, wearing them or if we are not wearing them for too long, the crystals will have a lot of unstable energy around them. Because by right, crystal is supposed to be auto-connected back to the universe. But because due to where we live, our dimension, right, is very volatile and unstable. So crystals tend to absorb a lot of unstable energy. So we need to ensure to cleanse them before we actually pass the crystals to someone or we wear it again. So we need to ensure that using sound frequency, we can actually cleanse off the crystals by resetting them back to the pulsation of earth frequency. Okay? And then for sage, sage is something that we can burn and use the smoke to smudge them. We can go around the crystals and sage can also be effectively used to cleanse our space. Not just sage. Palo Santo is also one of the method. Nowadays people like to use Palo Santo wood because it has got this very nice gentle smell. We also have it at our store later. You can check it out over there. Water. Water is also something that most easy and straightforward. But for personal, I will recommend if you want to use water to cleanse crystals, try to use purified or distilled water. Not mineral water or not tap water. Because tap water are all chlorinated. It's actually quite harmful for some crystals. Okay, and then we talk about maybe some aspect. If you talk about why some people may have certain recommendation to use rainwater, to use like water from the various places. I mean, different crystals has got different impact. Okay, so for this, I recommend water selectively used for crystals that are suitable. Charging. So earlier we talked about cleansing, now we talk about charging. Charging is something that's very different. A lot of people confuse charging and cleansing crystals. So we have to advocate again, right? Remember the difference between charging and cleansing. So when we talk about charging now, we talk about the moon and the sun energy. Recently, 31st of January, who went for moon bath? Few days ago only. Super powerful blood moon, blue moon plus super eclipse or lunar eclipse, right? That day is the best day for you to bring all your crystals out, right? To do moon bath for all your crystals and also for yourself. If you miss that day, then probably gotta wait for another 150 years lah. It's 150 years, once last on 31st. It's very powerful. So you can use that to actually charge your crystals. The sun too, and then we use sea salt, also can charge crystals. And then Reiki, crystal Reiki is actually using the Reiki energy from the individual where we draw the energy from the universe and then we charge it into the crystals. So these are the few ways. Crystals, earlier I mentioned, amethyst. Amethyst is very good for charging crystals. So if you have amethyst caves at home, you can just throw all your crystals inside an amethyst cave before Chinese New Year. Let it charge. And then people will be asking, then how do I cleanse or recharge my amethyst cave, right? Because they have been there for a long time and some people they will think that after so long, right, they don't even want to put things inside the amethyst cave because inside very sticky, then very dusty. So how? So there's a proper way also to clean your amethyst cave. So I will share this with you on a separate basis. Then we talk about energy charging it with intention. Earlier I mentioned programming. You can also use energy to charge your crystals by programming and injecting your intention. Jewelry cleansing. So very easy. How do I know when you need to cleanse your bracelet and when do you need to cleanse your pendant, etc. Go with your intuition. Sometimes when you wear the accessories, you will know. Something will be telling you, or when you realize that you're no longer connected to whatever that you're wearing or used to wear. It's a signal that's telling you that you need to cleanse the crystal. And instead of chucking them aside and buying new ones, right, try to rejuvenate and reuse them again. Don't waste those crystals. Okay, last part we talk about programming crystals. Earlier I mentioned. So programming and injecting intention, there are similarities, but there are also differences. So when we talk about the actual programming, putting intention into crystals, right, you need to really set forth, let's say for example, a certain time or certain stage of where you have your mind settled, and then use intention setting then to actually program your crystals. There are so many crystals right around, let's say you have. So you may be asking, how do I know which one to program and which one should I use, let's say for this particular time? Most of the time, I will actually share with people who are keen to actually do programming of your crystals, right? Look at your current life stage and then connect this with the physical and the healing properties of all the crystals. Try to actually connect these two together and then look for a particular crystals that's currently in your home that you can actually relate or resonate with, and then use that to choose that crystals, right, to program your intention. That will be very powerful because we don't use like crystals like one shot, so many crystals at one time. Pick the right crystals for the right moment. I always feel that it's important to understand, to actually know your crystal's healing abilities, and with that you are able to connect fully 100% to actually anchor and utilize the crystal's healing energy. So this is one way that you can actually test it out. So we talk about intention setting, right? You will create this intention by setting it next to the motion. So when we actually put them into execution, you'll realize that things start to change in your day-to-day life. When you set the intention and you use the crystals, and every time when you look at the crystals, there'll be like an exchange telling you that we need to do this, we need to do that. So you have that constant connection. And it's like something reminding you. So you will set this and translate them into execution action that will help you to progress in your day-to-day. So believing in the power within is not just purely looking at believing in the power of crystals. It's also trying to activate the key within individual to activate that power within, so as we can connect to a higher level by using the power of crystals. When doing the energy exchange, it actually teaches us and allowing us to use this particular key, right, to connect higher up to receive the message from the universe. Or we talk about the whole entire universe's consciousness level. Yeah, so raising our consciousness level in this aspect. Okay, now the last part, we are covering. We'll be talking about the last part for today's session: house blessing and house clearing, or house cleansing. Sorry, I'm not doing house clearing. I'm doing house cleansing. A lot of people will be thinking, what is the difference? Clearing is to clear other things, right? Cleansing is to just cleanse the energy within the house. So it's very different. But of course, clearing wise, right, there will be a different method. So for us, right, we always try to share the difference and also why is it important for you to have house blessing and also house cleansing, especially before Chinese New Year. After one whole year of very hectic and very overwhelming, let's say, stress, and then sometimes there may be negative people around your house. It is good that on the new year, before we actually welcome the brand new year, do a proper house blessing and cleansing for your house. And then when you move into a new space, you also need to actually have proper blessing and also cleansing. House blessing is literally, right, bringing in positive energy, by actually drawing this energy into a new space or a space that you want to rejuvenate, so that you actually created a differences in terms of the energetic field by purging out, right, whatever that's of a lower vibration. So that's the reason why, right, before we do house blessing, the cleansing process is very important. So we will do a cleansing process before we actually proceed to bless the house. So it's very simple. As for how do we do that, right? So typically for us, Gem Story, we offer services where we will go to your house, or even if let's say you have got people who are shifting house and you're looking at in a very modern, scientific, or I should say modernized way of doing blessing. We use typically, earlier I mentioned, sound, smudging, Palo Santo, sage. We use music, frequency, and we also use candle. So these are typically more different approach. If you want to find out more, right, later just have a chat with me. I'll share in details with you, or you can also log on to our website to find out more in terms of this service. Okay, then we talk about finally space cleansing. Cleansing is where we cleanse away all the low vibrational negative energy before we welcome in the high positive energy into the house. So typically that will be another procedure on how we actually cleanse the space. And then of course you may be wondering, if cleansing halfway, then you may be thinking that if there's a need for you to do clearing, right, then how? Yeah, then that will be of course proceed to another level. So these are the things that it's interesting, but I will not share it here because there are too many people. So just come to us if let's say you need any inquiries.